Okay, we'll start and trust that the network will not disturb us. I said before we had the slight hitches that we're going to be going into exercise 15H, and it is testing your use of negative brackets, negative before the brackets. So for instance, in number 1, we have 9 minus what? 7 minus 3. And there are 2 options we said to solve questions when you have brackets. You can choose to solve the bracket first, or you can choose to allow the sign affect the brackets. You can choose to solve the bracket first. So we're going to start with method 1. Method 1 will involve us taking care of the bracket first. So that will be what? 9 minus the difference between 9 and 3, 7 and 3, that is 4. And that will give me what? 5. Or there's also another method we can use. We use the negative to affect the bracket. Now, how does this work? Negative before a bracket essentially will change the signs. We essentially do what? Change the signs. So here you're going to have 9 minus what? 7 plus what? 3. I seen that. Then we apply our stepwise work here. This minus this will give me 2. And that'll be 2 plus 3, and that'll be what? 5. Is that clear? We'll continue. We'll go to question 2. In question 2, we have 9 minus 5 plus 7 plus 2. Sorry about that, plus 2. How do you solve this? By method 1, you take care of the bracket first. That'll give you 3. That'll give you 7. And your final answer becomes what? 2. Or method 2. Please, you're not required to use both methods. Just for you to see, because when we are going into an algebra, the second method might suffice better than the first. This will be 9 minus 5 minus what? 2. What does that give you? 4 minus 2, and that will be what? 2. I guess you've solved this before now, so my solving this again is just to reinforce what you have done. Question 3. In question 3, you're going to have 16 minus 4 minus 1. And what does that give you? 16 minus what? 3. And that essentially will be 13. Now, or you can use the method 16. Negative will change the signs. That's what negative does. It will change the signs. If you are positive here, it becomes negative. If you are negative here, it becomes what? Positive. So this will give me what? 12 plus 1, which is essentially what? 13. Whichever method you use, you're expected to get the same answer. In question 4 rather, we have 24 minus 15 plus 8. So this will be equal to 24 minus, bracket open, or minus what? 23. And that will give you, what? 1. So, or you can use the method of saying 24, the negative multiply the content 15 minus 8. So this will give me what? 9 minus 8, which will be equal to what? 1. Question 5. In question 5, we have 12 minus 9 minus 5 in brackets. So this will be equal to what? 12 minus, you subtract these 2, you get 4. And that will give you what? 8. Or you can go with the approach, opening the bracket, this will be 12 minus 9 plus 5. Please pay close attention to this area. Pay close attention to this area, because this is where a number of students miss it when it comes to algebra. You must understand that when you have a negative before the bracket, the negative affects everything in the brackets. And how does it affect the bracket? It will change the sign. So whatever was positive before becomes what? Negative. And whatever was negative before becomes what? Positive. I'm emphasizing this because you will soon see it as we solve problems. This will give me 3 plus 5, and that will give me what? 8. That's for question 3. What else? Question 5. For question 6, in question 6 we have 15 minus 10 plus 2. What does that give you? This will give you 15 minus, add these two, treat the bracket first. You're going to get 12. You're going to get 12. And then this will be equal to what? 3. Or you can take the pattern of saying 15. The contents will all change to negative. And that will give me 5 minus 2, which will give me what? 3. Are you seeing that? So the answers are essentially the same. Now let's look at question 7. In question 7, you have 11 minus 2 minus 1, which will give me 11 minus 1. That is 10. Or this will be 11. The contents will change. This will change to negative. This will change to positive. And that will give you what? 9 plus 1, which will be what? 10. See, the answers are essentially the same. Now for question 8, 4 minus 6 plus 3. What does that give you? This will give you 4 minus 9, which will be what? Negative 5. I'm happy to feel that we've solved this before, but anyway, it's a good one. It will serve as reinforcement for some of us. And this will be what? 4 minus what? Carefully note this, 6 minus 3, because the negative will affect both, and this will be negative 2, negative 3, and the answer is negative 5. Now the reason is that anytime you're playing with negative numbers, what essentially is happening to you is that we said that when the signs are the same, you are adding. When the signs are different, you are doing what? You are subtracting. All right. So we'll now go to question 10, question 9. Don't worry, I know we've solved this before, but it's good and it will serve as reinforcement for some of us because this is so important. This will now be what? 5 minus 9, which will give me negative 4. How? 5 minus 9 means that the negative is bigger than the positive. So the answer will obviously be what? Negative. So for question 10, it will be what? Okay, we'll now use OR. Check the other one. That will be 5 minus 14 plus 5. So I told you that you can now pick like terms. 5 plus 5 is equal to 10 minus 14 is equal to negative 4. And I remember in that class, I was saying that there is no one particular way. We teach you to free your thinking when it comes to solving problems. Now, question 10, which is the last question we're going to handle, says 8 minus 6 plus minus 2 plus 6. 8 minus 2 plus 6, and that will give me 8 minus what? 8, and that will be 0. Another approach would be to say 8 minus 2 minus 6, which will give me 6 minus 6, and that will also be what? 0. All right, so that's for question 10. And I think with that, we are done with that exercise, and we will move to the next one right away. Okay, now we're going to exercise 15I. And I want you to pay attention to that. Number 1, exercise 15I, number 1. Okay. So look at the first question there, A minus B plus C. Remember the rule, the negative will affect the content of the bracket. Now, you do bracket first, yes, but you know that these two things cannot be added. B can never be C. So you discover that in this setup, the negative would affect the content and open them up. So you are going to have here A minus B minus C. If after expanding, you had negative in here, and you're still having negative out, there's something wrong. So take note and be careful of that. Number two, you have A minus B minus C. What does that give you? That will give me A. This one will change to negative and this will change to positive. That's essentially what you're doing here. Just to take note of what is changing to positive and what is changing to negative. The negative will change this to negative, and the negative will change this negative to what? Positive. So that's exactly what we're doing there. Now, negative B plus C plus A. Now, watch carefully. The negative is only affecting these two. Look at the bracket. Please, let's watch. This is where the explanations will come in. Let's have our cameras on. So this will now be negative B minus C plus what? A. The negative does not affect this. The negative is only affecting the brackets. I hope that is clear. Good. All right, question 4. You have two. Okay, there's also something else I'll need to teach you here. At the end of this answer, try to rearrange it. A before B before C. Now, in arranging, you must take into consideration the sign in front of B and C. A minus B minus C. So you should be able to see that. A has positive in front of it, B has negative, C has negative. So you rearrange it, and this is what you're going to get. Right. Number 4, 2A minus bracket open 3B minus C. What does this give you? This will be 2A. The negative, the positive becomes negative, and the negative becomes positive. Try to play, try to have fun with what you're doing. It's not World War. Try to have fun with what you're doing. So this will be what? B minus 2C minus 5A. The negative is only affecting the brackets. Take note of that. So this will give me negative B, being positive before becoming negative. The negative here becomes positive. Now that will be plus 2C minus 5A. Now, you were supposed to rearrange them. So you rearrange that. This will be minus 5A minus B plus what? 2C. You arrange them that way. But me, I'll also add something interesting to it. I always like to keep the negative, the positive in front. So I'll write 2C minus 5A minus B. Please, this is another level. You see, we're not just solving, we're also teaching you to recognize patterns. Because these are things that could be tested in an OBJ exam. So you must get used to it. Question 6. In question 6, you have 5x minus 3y plus z. How am I right with that? Good. So this will now be what? 5x. They are both positive, so I expect that they will be changed to negative. Are you seeing that? They are both positive, so I expect that they will both change to negative. I hope we're all in this class. So like somebody has gone out to do something else. This will be A plus B minus what? C plus D. How do you handle this? Now look at this carefully. We have learned that if the bracket is, you have positive for the bracket. Now if I just write a number like this, look at this. What is multiplying this bracket is positive. And if you're very observant, for positive, multiplying the bracket, the content remains the same. So you just write this one, just put the bracket and write it. And then minus, the negative will affect everything here, minus C, minus D. Are we seeing that? Question 8. I really want you to rewatch this video, rewatch, keep watching it, because wow, you're going to be enjoying the knowledge you will gather here. Will be so wonderful, because we are solving question by question, and each question has its peculiar need. A minus B minus what? C minus D. So what does that give you? This will give you A minus B. The negative will affect the content. That will be minus C plus D. Is that clear? Question 9. A minus bracket open B plus C minus D. What is this going to give you? What is this going to give you? This will give you A. The negative is only affecting this content. They are both positive, so they will both change to negative. Minus B, minus C, minus D. Question 10. 3A minus 5B minus 2C plus 4D. The negative here again is only affecting this one. So it will be 3A. This will change to negative, and this will change to positive, and plus what? 4D. I seen that. Question 11. 8A minus B plus 5C minus 2D. What would this be equal to? The negative will affect the content, and both will change to negative. So that will be 8A minus B minus 5C minus 2D. Question 12. In question 12, you have negative into 2A plus B plus 4C minus 3D. So what does that, how would that be affected? We said that when you have positive before the bracket, the content remains the same. So, but the content here will change to what? Negative 2A minus 2B plus 4C minus 3D. And I told us that I always like to do something. I always like to keep the positive in front. So I'll look for which one is positive. That's 4C. I'll bring 4C to the front. Minus 2A minus 2B minus 3D. So that settles the question for that exercise. I'll give us a minute or two to catch our breaths, and then we'll go into. All right, so let's go. So let's look at that. Question 15J. Question 1. It says 3A minus bracket open A plus 5. All right, so what would that give you? This will give me 3A. What happened to the content? The negative will change the content. They are both positive, so they must both change to negative. At this level, you cannot collect like terms. You see now, you see the progression in the work. You collect like terms here now. This will give me what? 2A minus 5. Because 3A minus A will give me what? 2A. So that's for question 1. Question 2. 5x minus 2 minus x. And that will give me what? 5x. This will change to negative. This will change to positive. We have been told that the negative multiplying the bracket is a sign changer. It's a what? It's a sign changer. Now, what would happen? This will be equal to what? I've also told us that I've stopped of collecting like terms. I would rather you collect the like terms in your brain. It's an experiment I'm performing. Now, look at this. This is plus, this is plus. 5 plus 1 is what? 6. So that will be 6x minus 2. All right, so then question 3 will be what? 6x minus bracket open x plus 11y. What does that give you? This will be 6 negative into this. So both contents will change to negative because they are positive in themselves. So that will be what? x minus 11y. This is subtraction. That'll give you 5x minus 11y. Question 4. In question 4, you have that 2 minus 4n minus 5. What would that give you? This will give me 2 minus 4n. This will change to negative. This will change to positive plus 5. What is the state of n of 2? Positive. What's the state of 5? Positive. So I will add them. And that will give me 7 minus 4n. Okay? So let's go to question 5. In question 5, we have that 4a minus 3 minus a. This will be equal to 4a. The positive will change to negative and the negative will change to positive. We said that negative before a bracket is a sign changer. So what will this be equal to? These two will be added together because they are both positives, and that will give you 5a minus 3. Question 6. Oh, I'm sorry, that was question 6. Sorry about that, that was question 6. So let's solve question 5 now. 7n minus m plus n. What will that give you? That will give you 7n. Both will change to negative. Minus m minus n. That will give you 7n. Oh, sorry, we're changing our technique. That will give you 6n minus n. How? 7n minus n, 7 minus 1 is equal to 6. Hello, dear. I'm watching you. You're distracting me now. Stop that. Thank you. Question 7. Question 7 says 8x plus 3y minus 4x plus y. What would that be? This negative will affect this one. This one will remain as it is because it's a positive. We said that there are 2 reasons why you know it's a positive. One, if I write positive here, it is positive. But if I don't put a positive and I put a bracket, it means the bracket is covered in positive. So you just remove the bracket. That's the thing you do. But for this one, you will change the signs. Are you seeing that? So what's the next thing you do? This minus this, 4x. Remember that we're trying to upgrade in our thinking. There's some things we should be able to do mentally. Then this minus this will give me what? Plus 2y. Subtracting those two will give me a positive answer. Right? That's for question 7. We go to question 8. In question 8, we have 9 minus 2a in brackets minus 4 plus 3a. How do you handle that? Quite simple again. This will be 9 minus 2a, the positive bracket, so it will be positive, the content is not affected. Negative bracket, this will change to negative and this will change to negative. So what do we do? Look at this. This minus this. You look at the first step, that's 9 minus 4, that will be 5. Now look at these two. The signs are the same. So what are you doing? You are essentially adding. But your answer will be negative. So that's negative 5e. Question 9. (14x plus 5y minus 7x minus 6y. This will be equal to what? This will be equal to what? 14x plus 5y minus 7x. This will change to negative. This will change to positive. Plus what? 6y. Now look at that. 14x minus 7y will give me minus 7x will give me what? 7x. 5y plus 6y will give me what? 11y. So that's for question 9. Now let's look at question 10. In question 10, you have 6x minus y minus 4x minus 5y. So what will this give you? This will give you what? 6x minus y minus 4x plus what? 5y. This to this, this to this. So this will be what? 6 minus 4, which will give me 2x. And this will be 5 minus 1. And that will be what? Plus 4y. You know, when you are subtracting, the ideal thing, that's why when you were in primary school, we worked with the idea that when we were in primary school, one of the ideas we worked with was that when you say 3 minus 4, you would say what? It cannot. That was preparing your mind for something. So the idea, the concept from your primary school is this. When you are subtracting, where possible, say the positive bigger minus the negative. So that's the idea I have applied there. Notice I didn't say minus y plus 4. I said 5 minus 1. Bigger minus smaller. So you should know how to use these ideas in solving problems. All right, that settles that. Question 11. In question 11, you have 4x minus 2 minus 3 minus 2x. This will give you 4x minus 2 minus 3 plus what? 2x. So what do? This plus this, 4x plus 2x will give me this. Both signs are negative, so you are adding. I know you've been told so many things, but in reality, when the signs are the same, you are adding. So this will be minus 5. So come to 11. Come to question 11. In question 11, you have what? Question 12, final question rather, you have 3a plus 5b minus 7a plus 10b. How do you do that? This will be equal to 3a plus 5b unaffected minus 7a minus 10b. So what is going to happen? This to this, this to this. You discover that in both settings, the number that is negative is bigger. So your answer will be negative. So I'll just take that 7 minus 3 will be what? Negative 4a, because the negative is bigger. 10 minus 5 will be what? Minus 5b, because the negative is what? Bigger. And with that, we are through with that exercise. So in our next meeting, which will be on Monday, I want you to take as your assignment, go back and do exercise. Look at example 14. Go to page 128. Look at example 14. Look at example 15. With that idea, solve exercise 15K and do the revision test 15. I'm trying to change my method of teaching as you come into grade 8 now. So I will give you the topics to go and look at, and then I will, in my next class, I will now work on what you already know. I think it will be a better way, because when you hear something twice, it's more effective than when you're hearing it for the first time. All right, so let's brace up. That will be the new learning technique from now henceforth. All right. So how many of us have gotten